I'm excited to chat with Mardalena Dawn Turpel today on the Awaken Feminine podcast. Mardalena is a master intuitive massage therapist, the owner of Mardalena's Massage in California, and an award-winning best-selling author. She specializes in deep tissue and neuromuscular emotional release massage therapy. With her experience, knowledge, and intuition, she works with her clients to bring relief from physical pain and release emotional trauma trapped in the tissues, easing her clients to a relationship with their bodies from pain to pleasure. And I know she has so much love and wisdom to share with us today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Kaki.
I'm so excited to have you on because we're talking about something today that I have zero knowledge on. So I'll be just guided by my curiosity to ask you questions because I have zero knowledge. So it's very exciting for me because I'm going to be learning something new. So
really have you gotten massaged?
I have. Massaged? Yes, I love massages. But they have to be I like it like proper massage, not like when you go to a day spa and you get like just rubbed oil.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I like to say massage therapists are like snowflakes. Even if we all have the same teacher, you come out different. You know, yes. you bring in what you bring into it. You take out your own thing. But my passion has been deep tissue. I've been practicing for 23 years and I love, I just love my job. I've been practicing for 23 years and I'm still, the body is a mystery and very complex, and everybody responds to their emotions, their experiences differently.
Yeah, definitely.
So I love playing. I love playing with bodies.
Yeah, it's so cool because just like from my experiences with massage, like you say, everyone is so different, even if they come from the same teacher, like everything else. And, you go to massage therapists and they're like both remedial massage, but you have such different experiences with them because one can actually just get the right spots and the other one doesn't, even though they might apply more pressure, but the other one's softer but gets the right spot. So I just love, I have my own massage therapist that I like going to, but sometimes when I go to different ones, it's quite interesting. But before we dive into the conversation, I'd love to know, what is your definition of an awakened feminine?
That is a loaded question for me. I have 5 boys, and I live with my husband and my husband's adult brother, who's on the autism spectrum, and so together, I'm the only female in the house of 7 penises. And growing up, I had all brothers as well. So the feminine energy is, it's both very deeply felt within me and also a mystery to me. I feel like I just recently, like I'm through Kundalini yoga, I'm like, this might be the first time I was incarnated as a woman.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you know what I mean? Because I have so much male energy around me.
Yeah.
Not only, from my childhood and then also into my adulthood. So the awakened feminine is a mystery to me.
Yeah. And that is absolutely fine because I just like asking that question to get, your perspective on it. And I got full goosebumps going on when you're like, it's a mystery. That you might have been a male all this time in all your different lifetimes. So that's really cool. That is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about fascia lines, what they are, how they work, and how to work with them today. Like I said before, zero knowledge. So can you please share with us what fascia lines are and how did you start working with them? Like, how did you kind of discover it? I mean, obviously with your massage therapist and background, but if you can just dive in.
I've been working as a massage therapist, practicing my art for 23 years, and my passion continues because what I learn and also what I'm learning with myself brings clients to me that helps me dive deeper into my own physical understanding of my body. And then I listen to their stories. So fascia is the connective tissue. And it's in layers. So it's in every cell group. So it encapsulates every cell. That's the fascia that makes the cell. And then every cell group. And as you get bigger and bigger, the fascia gets thicker.
Okay.
So as we move, that's why movement is so great. You move, you naturally break up the fascia. But when you don't have movement in certain areas, the fascia builds up. Okay. It's the connective tissue. So it keeps us connected, but it also keeps us from growing if we don't stretch it out.
Oh.
I don't know if I'm sure. I'm like, I don't know if you've ever cooked, but we've all cooked, right?
Yeah.
And you pound a chicken. What you're doing is you're pounding that fascia out.
Yeah.
Of the dead tissue. So if you're working with live tissue, it's different.
So we don't want to have our fascia growing where we don't move, because you want to, stretch it and move it. So we don't, so it's not a good thing if we don't, if we let it just kind of keep building up.
And we're creatures of habit, right? So we move we do the same movements mostly throughout our day if we're not mixing it up. So those fascia lines are getting stretched out, they're getting used. But if you're not using a certain muscle group, then you're not stretching out those lines. The fascia builds, like I say, layers of an onion. You know what I mean? And then you get the lower back pain, right?
Yeah.
And then or the restriction through your arms, or like your arms go numb. And a lot of that if you catch it early enough, it's the fascia. You can break that up and you can facilitate range of motion.
So what happens if we don't catch it early enough? Because like you say, we're all creatures of habits. We tend to just do the same movements. So what happens then?
So that is what will be eventually diagnosed as arthritis or bursitis or any of the itises that get diagnosed, but the Western medical, they don't really know. They can diagnose it, but they don't know how to treat it, right? Treatment is movement. Treatment is breaking it up. I like to say you have to meet the pain to release the pain.
Yeah.
But it's only for a few, 10 seconds. You meet the pain and then it releases. Yeah.
So all the inflammation, because itises are inflammation. So
it's the ignored release. And then it leads to the inflammation. And of course, there's other things like nutrition. We are biological beings. It's all which makes it, keeps it so fascinating. But if you just concentrate on it. So what I want to talk about is a lot of people, they said they have, they come to me and they're like, I have my shoulders or my neck.
Yeah, that's me.
But what's going on is actually, if you want to release it, there's these fascia, I call them jackets. So it goes down your spine, up your neck, and then down, and then up over the front of your pelvis. So it's a connective tissue. It helps you move the way you want to move. It helps your legs work when you want them to work, right? It helps, your arms work when you want your arms to work. But when you like, if you're only moving certain ways and you don't stretch that out, you don't break that up. And like on our modern desk jobs, we're doing this, right?
Yeah.
So we think the problem's here, but what's going on is like these muscles are super tight. And there's this fascia jacket. So what I'm working on is through the rib cage and down through the pelvis. And then all of a sudden it releases all this. It's
that's really cool. So once you release it, I'm guessing you still then need to kind of bring in the habits of actually moving, so then it doesn't keep building up again. Is that how it works?
I like to say it's like cleaning a kitchen, right? You can't just clean it and have it be cleaned.
I wish you could.
I know. Or laundry, right? Like laundry, you just got to keep doing it. But that's, I like to say also, I like to tell people do it once a quarter.
Okay.
If you're in maintenance, get a massage once a quarter. And if you're trying to solve it, get it once every week, once every couple of weeks, and then once a month for about 6 months. Do that regulation to get that, because I like to work with people who are maybe not they're new to healing.
Okay. They
haven't worked with any coaches. They haven't.
Yeah.
They have a pain that maybe they have accepted. So I like to show them a different way. They're like, just because your father had back issues, you don't have to also have back issues.
Yeah.
You can find a different way.
Can I ask you, does it relate to, because I know your specialty is like, emotional release. So does the fascia and releasing emotions, do they kind of come together, or are they, how does that kind of all work into it? Yeah.
The fascia system is a living system in our body. It's similar to the skin system, but it's throughout the deeper tissues in our body. So when you have a trauma and you don't deal with it, or you can't deal with it, or you think you're dealing with it, but some of it, it gets stored in your fascia. And when you release that, you don't even have to be conscious of it. It's not a talk therapy. It is deep within your tissues. And a lot of people, they'll come to me and they'll say, I like to ask people, is there anything you like to let me know or be aware of? And they really don't know what to say to that most of the time. And then as we work together, they're like, oh yeah, I had an injury a couple years ago and I've been not using that foot. But it's kind of become a part of who they are, and they forgot that they incorporated that.
Yeah.
And they just have been guarding that. And so what happens is the rest of the body compensates. And it moves through your body in subtle ways that you don't even know.
Yeah.
So I like to start with the feet. I do what I call a light reflexology. And it gives me kind of a read of what's going on with the body, what parts of their body are resistive to letting go, what parts have tension. And then it's crazy how the legs give so much support to the back. People are always like, oh, it's my shoulders. But it's like, when it gets to your shoulders, that means, these huge lats failed. These huge quads failed. The glutes failed. These are all the worker muscles.
Mm.
You know what I mean? When it gets to, these aren't the guys causing the trouble. These are the guys shouting, please help me.
Yeah.
It has reached my limit.
Yeah.
But you have to get these worker muscles to release.
Yeah.
The core, right? And give that love back to yourself. So I like to do, like, I start off with the feet, and I like to remind you, the body, you were working together. And then I break it apart. Okay, well, you need some help here. There's a lot in the calves, you know, the knees, but, you know, got all the, I'll give you that support. And then I remind the body at the end, you are one. And you are working together. Right?
Yeah.
Because we sometimes, I mean, a lot of us disassociate with our bodies.
Yes. Yeah. Because we're trying to not have to feel the pain. So then we disconnect
so much
from
pain.
It. Yeah.
But I like to remind people, don't be afraid of that. The body is made. It will only let us feel one pain at a time. And it's like, pay attention to this, heal this. And it'll go on and be like, oh yeah, this up too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of your pain. Don't be afraid to drink water because it's going to make you pee.
Yeah. I want to ask you, so, you know, like you're saying, once it gets up to here is like, I've reached my limit. So are there anything like, I mean, obviously getting someone to do the massage for you is the best way to do it. But what are maybe some techniques that you might be able to share with our audiences to help just release the, you know, main tension areas that people tend to have?
Thank you for asking, because it's one of my main messages that I want to spread.
Yeah.
It's not, so when this is being overextended, it's like the spokes of a wheel. Like, and our neck is always working for us. Even when we're sleeping, it is balancing our head. Our neck, the only thing that works harder for us than our neck is our feet. So these guys have to be stretched up.
Okay. You
can take your hand, your palm of your hand, and you just feel how, and it's going to be, because nobody touches this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Our neck muscles join into our ribs here.
Yes.
Down and all the way down. And then, I mean, to get even more into it, there's a thing here called the anterior axillary fold.
Yeah.
There's one in the front, there's one in the back, but it's the only place in our body where the muscle folds on itself.
Yeah.
So that's a breeding ground for knots. It's a breeding ground for extra connection. So yeah, when your arm is falling asleep, do the best you can. So for people that are listening, I recommend that you actually go on YouTube to watch the video so that you can actually see what Mardalena is doing, because I'm not used to radio. But yeah, just any kind of manipulation in your front neck muscles, in your front arms, any kind of love you can give to your arms. You know, I wholeheartedly feel we are in a transitional, like, evolutionary phase. The way our bodies are not meant to do this worky thing. So our arms, you know, our necks are suffering and evolving.
Yeah. I do find it's actually quite, now that you mention it, I really enjoy arm massages now, whereas before, I don't know why. Like, I mean, because I always had like back and shoulder pain, so it's like, oh, can you focus on that? But then they do my arms, but they only do it for like a really, really short time. But for some reason now I love arm massages, and what you're saying makes so much sense to me to go, okay, that would make a lot of sense why it feels really nice when they do the arm massage, because it's releasing those muscles.
Well, that's the fascia line, right? So you feel it here, and that might be the concentration, because that's where the tissue is the thickest. but you can massage down here, and this you can do on your own.
Yeah. So just
oh my God. And
doing your arms. Yeah.
Makes such a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been getting my daughter. Well, actually, my daughter's been offering massages. So she's 6 years old.
Yay. Oh my God. I love it.
And she's been doing my arms, and it feels so good. It's not child labor, everyone.
Squish your whole arm like this.
Yeah. So I've been telling her to, like, kind of squeeze it. Yeah, squeeze it. And I was like, oh, feels really good. And I feel like she's got some magical touch, because it feels really good when she does it. And her hands are like just really warm and puffy. So they just feel really good when she does my arms. So yeah. So for anyone, if you've got young kids, make them give you a massage.
I really believe that it wasn't very long ago in our evolution where it was people, families massaged each other.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it was hundreds of years ago, but in the evolution, it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my dad used to have me walk on his back.
Yeah. Yeah. It's actually, now that I'm talking to you, I'm going, oh, we've been doing that recently as a family. Like, my daughter's been walking on my husband's back. I can't, I'm like, you're too big, but she's been walking on his back to just kind of, I don't know.
That's tight. Right, even grown women, if she has the touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really cool. Yeah. And my little one, she's 2. She's obsessed with massages. I mean, obviously she doesn't do much, but she's like, Mummy, we forgot massage, because we do it before bed.
Yes, right.
So I'm like, oh, okay. So then I'll have to, like, lay down for her to, like, just kind of do her thing, and then I have to do her. So yeah, she's very particular, my youngest.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
I've just recently been, my client, long-term clients, been reminded that, because I want to give people their money's worth. Like, I want to, you know what I mean? But sometimes, like, hey, sometimes they just need some gentle love. And I don't have to, but I feel like that's kind of like what your daughter was saying, or trying to share.
Yeah. She just wants to just, do her thing, do her bit. Yeah. Which actually I want to ask you, like you were saying, sometimes you just want to give your clients love and not actually go deep. Before, you were saying that, you need to meet the pain where it is. So how does that, I guess, how can you talk a bit about that?
So my limited understanding from experience and it's the pressure point. So you can relax. And so that's I mean, everybody has a different relationship to their body. I love doing deep tissue. I love doing that, but I'm learning. I mean, I've been practicing for 20 years. I'm also learning the power of a more gentle massage. Some people, it's all about the defenses that your body has. Some people don't have any. Some people have a lot, right? That you have to work through. So I am very good at being able to bypass the defenses, the neurological stuff, to then what I say is I like to convince a muscle to relax, to make it think it's its idea to relax, right? Like, that's how you get it to relax. It has to be its idea. Like, you can't pound it like a chicken, Yeah. I mean, you can, but it won't get the release that I'm looking for, that you're looking for.
Yeah.
It has to be its idea. So I love that. But I have been learning recently, there are different ways to get there. Like, there's the way that I've been, it's a struggle. It's a wrestle. It's a thing. But I've also been like, oh, well, sometimes you can actually be very powerful and get very deep without that struggle. So it depends on the person who's on the table and the communication between us. And so with massage, it's not like a coaching situation where someone is like saying, yeah, I am here. I am ready to face my issues. Right? They're like, hey, I have issues, but I don't want to talk about it. Solve them for me anyway.
Yeah. Right. And I love that. You know, a lot of people don't want to have to sit through the trauma again and feel the emotions again. It's like, okay, if you can release it from my body and I don't need to talk about it, why not? Yeah. So sorry.
It's the first, I like to say it's the first stop, you know, sometimes in somebody's healing journey.
Yeah. So you say you use your intuition when you do your therapy, and you said you ask the muscles to release themselves. Do you actually, are you someone that talks, or do you do it, energetically?
I do it energetically.
Yeah.
I talk to the muscles without talking.
Yeah.
I can talk to somebody, and I do have clients, but I'm, like I said, I'm not a coach. I'm not a talk therapist. My strength leads in helping subconsciously connect with your tissues. So that's why I start with the feet, because, I can get a read on the body, but it also allows the client to get used to being touched, getting used to them sharing their energy with me, so that when we go through the legs and then into the lower back and then up through the arms and the neck, I've established a connection, a trust.
Through
their feet.
Yeah, that's really cool. So I want to ask you a bit more about the fascia. So so do people then, like, once you release things, I'm trying to figure out how to ask this question in my head, because so once you release it, and if they're doing maintenance they're also doing exercises at home by themselves, can things like re-trigger them so that the fascia then holds on to things again?
For sure.
Yeah.
We're creatures of habit, right? So it's all about the integration of the change, to that, like, if mine is a subtle art, they will have the experience, and then it opens them up, like, to go and grow in other ways, but it will build back up.
Yeah,
for sure.
Do you find that it's in the same position, or like, do they then hold it in different areas?
That's a really great question. I have been very blessed and grateful to be able to work with several clients over a decade.
Oh, wow.
So I can say, that it has migrated. And then through COVID, a lot, when I wasn't able to work and I wasn't able to connect with a lot of my clients, when they came back, there was a lot of the early issues that remanifested.
Yeah. Because I think people had to then, all those things kind of came back out
kind
again.
Of reevaluate.
Yeah. It's interesting how it migrates. I'm just curious because when, I don't know if you know, I'm just asking because I'm curious about it. But when they migrate, do they, because you've worked on it and they've worked on it as well, do you find that they go lower into the body? Because when you said as it goes up is that limit, so would it migrate further down because it's kind of triggered but is not as serious as before?
So everybody relates to their body differently, obviously. Yeah. There was, I mean, I work with I do love working with older clients because I love to be able to show them change is possible. Like they've lived with this pain for a while, and it's like, you know what, you don't have to live with that. Like that is actually not permanent, you know. So I have a client who I've been working with since he was 78. He's 90 now, and he had the hunched shoulder that he was the only client that I was able to correct the hunch shoulder of. And then the 2 years, he was very old. And so he didn't come see me during the COVID, and he is back. So we are working with that again too. I mean, it's not back as bad, but we are organic beings. We are biological beings. We are not machines. You can't replace a thing. But what I've learned from my older clients is that, it's like, there is no perfect. There is no, but it's like, hey, just keep trying to do the best you can. Enjoying the life you have and celebrating the pain-free moments. I mean, I hate to say it, but if we're all lucky enough to get older, we're going to have more pain moments. So I love learning about how to reduce those moments in my life as I grow older. Yeah. There is no solution. We're all going to die or get older and die.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a guarantee in life, is that you will transition at some point.
And there will be pain.
Yeah. Can you actually do massage on yourself, or like when, because
for sure. I do. And Kundalini yoga helps so much, but I do. When I wake up, especially my neck, I haven't found a practitioner. I've worked on and off with practitioners, but at the moment I don't have one that I'm working with. I'm my own practitioner.
It must be hard for you, because you do your magic and your work that you do. So you must be very particular for, when you look for someone that does work on you.
I've always been this is maybe an outdated term, but I've always been a massage whore. Any massage is good. Touch me. Like any massage is good. Yeah.
Do you find any of your clients do you ever have any clients that are shy? Because, for example, I love massages. And when I first started getting massages and they told me to take my clothes off, I was a bit shy. But now it's like, yep, I'm happy to take all my clothes off. Just, give me the massage. My husband is very shy, and he's also very ticklish. Do you have like clients where they are quite shy, and how do you, kind of work through because obviously they're not comfortable in their bodies enough to 100%. For them to be shy. So can you maybe share how then you deal with those kind of clients?
Yes. It's one of my superpowers. I love to make people feel comfortable. So what I do is I tell them, adjust your, level of comfort, but, and I'll unwrap one body part at a time. And I do, I unwrap one body part at a time. If you wear your underwear, and it's going to get very oily because I want you to be comfortable. I want you to be comfortable. And a lot of people are really very comfortable with me hiking up their underwear, but they still want it on. Yeah. But the butt, the butt is the house of a lot of, it's the biggest hinge we have on our body. So it is the house of a lot of the tension. If you have a massage therapist who doesn't touch your butt, you should find one who does.
Ah,
Even if
that's
you're not
interesting.
comfortable. Like I have people who aren't comfortable. I let them leave their underwear on.
Yeah.
But the release that comes, you can't, a lot of massage teaches to go to the top of the thigh and then start again at the base, and they ignore the whole hips. But the hips is where it's happening. And there's the fascia, because the hinge part of it, right? So if you think about how a hinge works, there's stuff that's covering the top and the back, or the top and the bottom.
Yeah.
So this is all fascia.
Yeah.
So you have to break that up. You have to break that up, or else it will keep forming. And that's when you're like, oh, my butt, like my back is stiff, or my back, I bent a certain way, and it was like, no, I'm not gonna. That was building for a long time.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's the whole thing. Like, doing the cat-cow.
Yes.
Flexing the spine. It really is. It really is the seed of.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense, but I just never thought that massaging the butt is so important. So now I'm gonna be like, you massage my butt, I'm going somewhere else.
Right. I had a lady yesterday, Chakra Parvati, and she's like, oh, that's better than an orgasm. And I was like, well, you might be doing it wrong, but yeah, it's pretty good.
Oh, that's so funny. But yeah, it makes a lot of sense because and then we also sit on our butt most of the day as well at work. So
right.
Yeah. And then the hunched
whenever
shoulders.
You feel it, just kind of do I like to say I like to say Kundalini, but it's like, just like stretch your spine out.
Yeah. And you talk a bit about Kundalini yoga. Do you kind of incorporate the technology and wisdoms from Kundalini into your practice as well?
So I am not a teacher. I'm not. Kundalini is something that that I have been exploring for my coach. When I wasn't able to practice during the during COVID-19. I got very stuck, and then I started exploring Kundalini, but I feel it like it's very much connected. The spinal energy, spinal fluidity is the goal of massage. Is getting your spine to move, and that's kind of the goal of Kundalini too. So they work very well together.
Yeah, because your spine is very important.
Oh man, that's the crazy thing. Like Western medicine is like spine. I don't know what to do with the spine. So we gotta kind of supplement that for ourselves.
It's so interesting because my background's a pharmacist, so very Western medicine. But as I kind of stepped away from it and dove deeper into my spiritual and personal growth journey, I realized how limited Western medicine is. Although I've always been interested in Chinese medicine because I've just always been interested in like acupuncture and all those things. And then now I'm like, oh, okay, it makes sense how, the holistic, what they call complementary alternative medicines complement the Western medicine. And we actually need a system where we can have both coexisting together.
I agree.
Yeah, to really, provide that synergistic effect for our patients rather than, the Western doctors go, nah, that's all quack. But it's been around, like the alternative medicines have been around for thousands of years. So surely it can't be really that quack if people are still practicing it after, millennia.
the integration is the future.
Yeah.
The Western medicine has a lot of observations, a lot of information, analyzation of stuff that Eastern medicine, wasn't able to prove or whatever, but has been practicing for centuries. So yeah, the integration, absolutely.
Yeah. So I just love it, love learning about what the guests on my podcast and like what you do. Actually, you're the first person, I think you're the first person, actually talking about, all these things in such detail in the podcast. So it's just so interesting learning about it. And I'm like, oh, cool. Now I'm going to start doing massage on myself at the front just to loosen things up because, working online, like you say, is that hunch over and with your shoulders, working on the computer, sitting on your bum all day, all those areas that really need a lot of love and attention to release so that it doesn't get stuck. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So Mardalena, I'm just like aware of the time. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with our listeners or audience about, working with the fascia lines and how they can just, loosen them up to help them with, even emotional release?
That's a great question. I think, yes, we've really covered a lot of what I wanted to share, but yeah, stretching and water, because that just supports the fascia system. It helps all the lubrication. Drink as much water as you can and stretch and get as much massage as you can. I like to say Bob Hope had a live-in massage therapist and he lived to over 100 and I feel like there's no bad massage. Some of it is not as good as others, but
but they're all doing something.
It all helps.
There's even the ones that I said where they're just rubbing oil on. I'm really relaxed and I usually fall asleep. So, it's doing something.
Right? Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Before we wrap up, can you share with us what's setting your soul on fire at the moment?
Yeah. So, with the multi-author books that I've done 2, we've got 1 together that we're sharing coming out on Tuesday, Prosperity Codes. I was reignited with passion with my husband to do podcast production. So I've been doing massage for 23 years, changing lives one table at a time. But through the multi-author books, has ignited a passion with me to share a podcast like you, but to help give a platform for women to share their stories with their voices. And we are working on also doing audiobooks to help multi-author books share their stories with their own voices through the audiobook form. So I, for a long time, told myself the story that I was not good with computers. I touch butts, I raised boys, I touch butts, computers, like I did all my books handwritten for 18 years. And, I was like, I am really young. I can't sign myself off of being a part of the computer age. So, and I just took canceling that story. And now I can do not all the things, but I'm learning to do all the computer things that I wanted to do. And part of that is creating podcasts. So that is what's lighting me on fire right now.
That's really exciting. And I really felt it that, it's exciting. It feels really right for you. And I'm so excited. And yes, we're in a book together that's coming out tomorrow. I mean, the podcast will probably go out later after our book launch, but at the time of the recording, it's coming out the next day. So it's really, really, really exciting. Oh, it's next day for me. It's actually the day after for you because you're in America.
Right?
Yeah.
So excited.
So it's super exciting.
Thank you, 𝐶𝐿𝐵𝐾𝐵.
Thank you so much, Mardalena. I've just loved our conversation, and thank you for teaching us, everything about fascia lines. I've definitely learned a lot and very, very interested to, dive deeper into it. If people want to find out more about you and how they can work with you, where should they go?
You can look me up at mardalenadan.com or Mardalena's Massage on Instagram.
Perfect. I will have all your details in the show notes so people can reach out to you. Thank you once again. It's been great.
Thank you, 𝐶𝐿𝐵𝐾𝐵.